Welcome back, everyone. Okay, let's dive right into this because the clock is ticking loudly on one of the absolutely most critical financial pillars in America. Today, we're bringing you a comprehensive explainer on the Social Security cliff and exactly how you can navigate the looming 2032 funding crisis.
But before we look at the data, I just need to make something perfectly clear. Everything we discuss in this explainer is strictly for educational purposes, okay? It is not financial advice. Social Security projections involve a lot of uncertainty, so you should always consult a licensed financial advisor for retirement planning that's tailored to your unique situation.
6. That is how many years the Social Security Retirement Trust Fund has left before it completely runs out of reserves. And guys, that isn't just some wild guess. That's according to the official government report released just 3 weeks ago. We literally only have 6 years left. Specifically, the 2026 Social Security Trustees Report projects that the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is going to be totally exhausted in the fourth quarter of 2032. And at that precise moment, retirees face an automatic 22% benefit cut. Even if you combine all the retirement and disability funds together, they still run dry shortly after, in 2034.
So let's pull this out of the macroeconomics for a second and make it deeply personal. For a typical couple retiring in 2033, if Congress takes zero action, they're facing an $18,400 annual reduction to their benefits. That is a very real, incredibly painful hit. I mean, think about it. That's a whole grocery budget, a medication budget. It's a massive chunk of your rent check, just completely gone.
So, here's our agenda for today's explainer. We're going to take this step by step. First, the 2032 funding cliff. Second, trust fund depletion explained. Third, who faces the most risk? Fourth, 5 potential reform options. And finally, your retirement action plan.
Section 1. The 2032 funding cliff. The countdown begins.
Now, you might have seen a recent analysis floating around from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. While the government trustees estimate depletion in late 2032, Wharton estimates February 2033. Honestly, the difference here is roughly 1 to 2 quarters. For retirees, that difference is largely immaterial. You see, the Wharton headline was perfectly accurate, but it got misread by a lot of people as some sort of solution. It's not. It's just slightly less bad news. Both of these forecasts point to the exact same reality. The trust fund is rapidly approaching insolvency.
Section 2. Trust fund depletion explained. Busting the myths.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it highlights a critical reality. Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. It is not a personal savings account with your name stamped on it. The money taken from your paycheck doesn't just sit in a vault waiting for you to retire. Today's workers are simply paying for today's retirees. And the trust fund you always hear about? That is merely a reserve buffer. When there was a surplus, sure, it grew. But as baby boomers have been retiring in massive numbers since 2021, that buffer has been rapidly drawing down.
So let's neutralize the panic a bit and look at the actual reality of depletion. It does not mean the program just goes bankrupt overnight or that the checks completely stop. Payroll taxes are going to continue to flow in indefinitely. What it does mean, though, is that without that trust fund buffer, the system would only be able to pay roughly 78 cents of every dollar in scheduled benefits. To put that into perspective, for someone living on $2,000 a month, that equals a really painful $440 monthly cut.
Section 3. Who faces the most risk? The demographic impact.
You know, different demographics bear entirely different burdens here. If you're a current or near retiree, you're facing a direct hit to a fixed income stream you've already built your life around. You literally have the least amount of time to adjust. For lower income retirees who rely heavily on Social Security, a 22% cut is straight up financially catastrophic. And what about younger workers? Well, you have time on your side, sure, but you face massive uncertainty and the strong potential for major tax hikes or increased retirement ages. Bottom line, anyone relying heavily on this system is intensely exposed right now.
Section 4. 5 potential reform options. How Congress can fix it.
So the good news is Congress has actually fixed this before, most notably back in 1983 under President Reagan, completely avoiding an imminent depletion. Today, they essentially have 5 mathematical levers they can pull. Option 1. Raise the payroll tax from 12.4% to 17.1%. To put that into perspective, if you're on a $70,000 salary, that's a $1,645 tax increase that you'd split with your employer. Option 2. Eliminate the wage cap. This means folks making over the current limit of $176,100 would start paying taxes on all their income. Option 3 is raising the retirement age to 68 or 69. Now that's a mathematically simple fix, but it deeply hurts workers in physically demanding jobs. Option 4, reduce the benefit formula, particularly targeting higher earners. And finally, Option 5, a combination of all 4 of those levers, which is exactly the approach that 1983 reform took.
Section 5. Your Retirement Action Plan. Take control now.
So the crucial point is, we can't just sit around waiting for Congress to figure this out. We need a highly specific strategy based on your exact age right now. If you're 55 or older, the political reality is that Congress will likely protect your benefits, but you should absolutely still stress test your retirement plan, assuming a 10 to 15% cut just to be safe. If you're in that 40 to 55 range, expect your benefits to be around 70 to 80% of what's currently projected and plan accordingly. And if you're under 40, honestly, treat Social Security merely as a bonus. Do not count on it. Focus on building your own wealth and personal savings.
Okay, here are 5 actionable steps you can literally take today. 1. Go to ssa.gov and get your actual statement so you know your baseline. 2. Run a stress test on your monthly budget. 3. Maximize your tax-advantaged accounts right now. I'm talking about maxing out that 401k and IRA. 4. Plan your claiming strategy carefully. And keep this in mind, delaying your claim from your full retirement age until age 70 provides a guaranteed inflation-adjusted 8% return per year. That is a massive advantage if you can afford to wait. And 5, stay engaged. Watch what Congress does with those reform options over the next few years.
I want to leave you with this one thought. Are you counting on Social Security for your retirement? Think about that carefully. Please, don't be the person who built their entire future around a promise that is statistically shrinking, making absolutely no contingencies for 2032. Stress test your retirement, max out your savings, and treat whatever fix Congress comes up with as just a welcome update to a plan that is already bulletproof. Drop a comment below, let me know where you're at and if you're counting on this system. If you found this explainer valuable, please hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss our new explainers every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Tune in this Thursday for our explainer on the K-shaped economy and why the stock market hitting record highs doesn't necessarily mean your personal finances are actually up. I'll see you then. Stay smart with your money. Peace.